Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are going to do a collective reading. I have my cards all out pre-shuffled here. I'll be using the Victorian Romantic Tarot Energy Oracle Cards deck, Into the Lonely Woods by Rockpool Publishing, and my Red Seeds Tarot deck by Linda Hill. This deck, I think, part of the reason why I've been feeling so drawn to it lately is because if you're familiar with the Eleusinian mysteries, then you know that the autumn equinox is when Persephone returns to the underworld to be with Hades, and this entire deck actually explores the mysteries of Demeter, Persephone, Hades, and it just talks about the entire emotional experience of the mother losing her child, Persephone being tricked into staying in the underworld with the pomegranate shared with Hades. And this is an extremely large deck and is difficult to shuffle, but it's lovely. So I'm gonna just start by shuffling these cards, and as I do this, you all can feel free to set your own intentions for this reading, either in your mind out loud or in the comments. As our beautiful soul tribe here is growing, we are also attracting many different forms of soul connections. So we have twin flames, soulmates, other forms of spiritual soul connections, perhaps even some karmic connections on here. And do bear in mind, not all karmic connections are bad. There are some really positive, good ones out there too. So we are going to start by pulling a couple cards from Into the Lonely Woods, and let's see what comes through. Realizations. Death moves amongst us. Wow. So it seems like you or the person connected to you has been going through some major transformations, transitions, life transfigurations. I'm just hearing that word from Spirit. So perhaps that resonates in a specific way for somebody here. But these transfigurations, as I'm hearing, are helping you or your counterpart to realize the bigger picture of what's been going on this entire journey. And during all of this, you're not just healing your connection, you're actually healing your inner child as well. And autumn being a time where, we tend to go into hermit mode more. We tend to want to kind of shut out the outside world and go within ourselves. We tend to also be triggered more around this time because of the holiday seasons, family gatherings, seeing proposals and things like that, and feeling that void within yourself of, the absence of your external masculine, the Ace of Pentacles, feeling that lack of a solid foundation in your life, in your love life, is what's really the most triggering for most divine feminines and masculines as well during this time. We have the Four of Torches, which is the Four of Wands here. But Spirit is really recognizing with the Nine of Vessels or the Nine of Cups at the bottom of this deck, how hard you've truly worked to surrender divine feminine. It feels like you tried everything that you could. You've done everything that you thought was possible. You literally, there was no stone you left unturned for the sake of your masculine. And now Spirit is saying it's time for you to find your emotional fulfillment. You have been so concerned, so stressed about what's going on in their life that although you have been focused on yourself, you have been trying to, allow them the space to do whatever they need to do, the stress of the what ifs never fully goes away on this journey. And the fact is that, when in your bones and the fibers within you that you're supposed to be with this person, you can't help but worry about how that's going to take place. For some of you divine feminines, I'm getting that it's not even a question of if, it's a question of, being afraid of everything in between. And so with the 5 of Bees here, this is the 5 of Swords. I'm really seeing you and your masculine both mirroring each other with this fearful overthinking energy of wanting to honor this connection and not knowing how. And for the masculines, I'm really sensing that deep sense of realization of how much time they've lost, fearing if, with the lessons that they're still continuing to learn, fearing if maybe they've pushed you so far away that, do they still have the chance of regaining your trust, of giving this connection a real chance at success? We have the Queen of Wands here. We have you, divine feminine, being a magnet right now for your divine masculine. And the masculine is also in this Queen of Wands energy, to where he's taking charge and doing so while he's tapped into the feminine side of his intuition, of his whole self, we'll say. This masculine is reaching a sense of wholeness in a very difficult way, because I feel like this masculine learns things the hard way. This masculine does not learn things the easy way. He can be extremely kind and nurturing, and also extremely stubborn and emotionally immature, and this is something that they've carried over from childhood that now they are actively trying to work on and heal and fix. But with this masculine not fully being able to see the entire picture before, what came across as avoidance or deception even was not fully intentional. It was just because this masculine failed to see that he had control over how he responds to things. If his life is stressful, if his life is not balanced, then he had the power the entire time to make that change. But because he failed to communicate his truth to, whoever or whatever situation was the barrier here, that is why this stress had lasted so long. Now, of course, there was, a higher lesson that they had to learn from this entire experience. And that's why it happened this way, because trust me, in my third eye, I can see a child being raised, and it seems like this masculine was being divinely raised in order to be a full, mature man before he's able to find his way back to you, divine feminine. So he kind of had to learn these lessons the hard way, and Spirit knew that this is the only way that this masculine is ever going to learn. So this is what, this is how he has to do it. And that's why we always say, right, everything is happening for you, not to you. This was definitely something that was happening for you. In order to bring in this inspired, passionate new beginning, this masculine had to kind of be dragged through the wind tunnel, so to speak, right? He had to gain this realization that his sense of entrapment was self-inflicted. And I think this is what's been probably one of the most difficult pills to swallow for this masculine, is that learning how to behave in connections with other people, not just you, Divine Feminine. Learning the importance of speaking his truth, recognizing the difference between codependency, dependency, and real love, true trust, and, you know, how to have healthy boundaries, how to assert those boundaries without worrying about hurting another person, because now this masculine is actually learning how to communicate that he can be assertive and not hurt somebody else. Like, you know, he has valid emotions as well that other people also need to respect, which is just something that I think this masculine never fully realized to begin with. It's like, now that, you know, he's truly seriously wanting to open this door to romance and, you know, feeling ready, like he's ready for love. And we have the number 33 here, which could be significant for some of you listening. He had to kind of have all of those realizations put into place for him the hard way. I want to pull a couple cards from the Victorian Romantic Tarot. That's a lot, but I'm going to take these two that I've seen. We have the Five of Cups, and then we have the King of Cups. So this masculine has had to walk away from some difficult things. And it wasn't difficult because, you know, he didn't want to walk away or anything. It was difficult because he was afraid. He didn't trust the future narrative. He didn't trust what the future held. And that's what held him back for so long. That is what kept him from taking the actions he needed to take, because he knew that he wanted to exit certain situations in his life. He knew that, you know, certain environments and people were not aligned with his highest good. They were causing him much more burden and stress, but he didn't know, he didn't have faith that he would be taken care of in the future. And now he's kind of being forced to take that leap with the Tower at the bottom of the deck. Talk about synchronicity, right? You know, he's being forced to take that leap. It's like, ready or not, you know, this this chapter of your life is over and it's time for you to start a new one. And this masculine is learning a lot about himself in this process. He may seem, you know, he may seem withdrawn, but he's anything but withdrawn. He is very much still in this connection. Knight of Swords. Now that this masculine has realized how much time has gone by and the fact that, you know, potentially the holidays and whatnot is upon us, he's really wanting to make his return, like ASAP. Wow. I can't help but laugh. This is seriously, you guys, look at this. We have the Ace of Cups, the Eight of Wands, which y'all know is like the fastest moving card in the deck, plus Six of Swords, everything talking about movement. Look over here. This is, I believe, Venus. And I always forget what her counterpart's name is. That's terrible of me. But I do believe this is the story of Aphrodite or Venus. You know, this is the Ace of Cups. Look at her counterpart just diving into the ocean. Like, I'm not even a creature of the ocean, but I am in love with you. And look, I'm going to dive head first. I don't even know where I'm headed, but I'm trusting that you're going to catch me. This is divine masculine right now, divine feminine. We have, and look at that, Six of Swords. This is the ship that he probably jumped off from, right? I mean, it's like you've been right there as his safety net this entire time. And now he's getting that strong nudge from spirit, like, okay, now it's time. Now it's time, right? And then you have the Eight of Wands. Like, this is the speed at which he's coming at you with divine feminine. He is like a supernatural speed wanting to come towards you. he spent too much time in this King of Swords energy where he's overthinking everything and being narcissistic about things, and just finding every problem for every solution. He's wasted too much time in that, and he's scared as he's realizing how much time he's actually lost in that. So he's coming, Divine Feminine. And as soon as this card flipped over, I heard I'm ignoring other people. This is the Four of Cups. And it's funny because the imagery actually seems to speak to that, because see how many people are kind of like throwing themselves at this masculine, but this masculine's not even paying attention. He's like, I want my Divine Feminine. Y'all don't do anything for me. Like, I know who I want. She's the one I want. She is the one that the ship is sailing in for. Three of Wands, right? She is the one that the ship is coming in for. And for her, I'm going to be that King of Wands. I'm going to be that passionate lover. I'm going to be, taking charge and giving her the time of her life. And here we have the Devil, which isn't a negative card with the energy that I'm getting for this particular reading. This is like Divine Feminine. You are that forbidden fruit that he doesn't care anymore who's in his way. He's just going to take the bite. He's going to go for it. Like, the more he's learning about himself, the more he's scared of how much time has gone by, that he's really been this slow to grow. And I think that's kind of like a punch in his ego as well. Like, wow, am I really that slow? But you gotta say that it's admirable for him to at least be acknowledging that at this point, that yeah, damn, I was that slow. So, I got to pick up my pace now. And he doesn't want to waste any time, especially because Divine Feminine, he's scared that somebody else might be, up your alley. Like, he may have kind of pushed you to the point where you're actually finding other people attractive now. And this scares him shitless, right? Like, I mean, this is really kind of like pushing him over the edge, because as he's imagining the possibility of you being with somebody else, it's like, I keep hearing the words, it's like a sword through the heart, or a sword through my heart, is what the Divine Masculine is saying. Like, I'm hearing a Divine Masculine step in to say that. And yeah, Temperance, he's not balanced when he's thinking of that. He's like, I need to rush in here. And notice all the blue in the cards that I've been pulling, but it's especially standing out here. And blue is all about the throat chakra, communication. Yeah, this masculine is, notice how her headspace here kind of matches this that she's holding out. It's like, this is the Divine Masculine kind of moving out of his own headspace and moving into his heart space, opening up his throat chakra. And this has been happening to me for a couple readings now, where as I channel the Divine Masculine energy, not only does my speed of speaking pick up, but also my throat chakra is extremely open. Like, I really, really, really feel this flow of the words that are coming out. We got the Hierophants, which is plural in this deck, the Hierophants, but in the reverse position. This shows me that now what this masculine is focused on healing is those generational patterns, those family wounds, betrayals by friends and family that he's kind of been holding on to for too long. And I think he's realizing that he's been holding on to it for too long. And now with the Two of Torches, which is Two of Wands, it's time for him to make that choice to release what doesn't serve him. And notice the circle here between, the two aspects of the same feminine. This circle, it's like he's coming full circle is what I'm hearing here. You may have dreams of the color mauve for some reason. That's what I'm being shown, that if the color mauve stands out to you, especially in relation to your Divine Masculine in dreams, That would be another confirmation for you of him, you know, trying to heal what has been holding him back all this time in terms of family issues, trust issues, past hurts, etc. Notice how this is the 10 of Swords, the 10 of Bees, but yet this person is growing wings and flying up. It's like this divine masculine is now finally flying free of that 10 of Swords energy, that rock bottom energy. You know, if you guys can picture in your minds the traditional 10 of Swords card in Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot, it's this person laying on the floor with 10 swords in their back, right? And probably bleeding very, very heavily. Yeah, this masculine is not holding on anymore. Like, whatever he was holding on to, this is the Four of Pentacles card, he is now being released from, he's flying free from. This doesn't hold the power over him anymore that it used to. That power, he's taken his power back is what I'm getting. And oddly enough, I'm seeing the Seven of Swords tarot card in my third eye, which can also mean taking your power back. And look at this, guys. We have the Strength card that just flew out. And this is actually like a flowering heart organ, which, you know, this masculine had his heart space closed off and shelled up for such a long time, and now it's starting to bloom and flourish. And he knows that it's your love that's done this, Divine Feminine. He knows. So this is really, really great energy, actually, because it talks about the full awakening of a divine masculine that is actually happening as we speak, divinely guided and protected. Here we have the color purple, and this also looks like amethyst crystals. And purple is all about the crown chakra, you know, connection to source, connection to your higher self. And we all know that if you resonate with being on the twin flame journey, your higher self and your divine counterpart's higher self are always connected. And there is no severing that bond, ever. And with the crown chakra healing, balancing, and opening, that means the connection healing, balancing, and reopening, which is, you know, which has been the goal of this entire journey this whole time. So I am going to close out the reading right here. I do hope this message will find everyone who resonates with it. And I do hope to see you all on my other platforms, which I will link in the video description box below. You all take care, and I will talk to you again in the next video.